So we are going to learn computers, introduction to computers. This is topic 1. So we're going to study how, as an introduction to what computers are. So we'll start by defining what a computer is. A computer can be defined as an electrical or an electronic or machine that processes data to generate information that is done with speed and with accuracy. So we also can say computers are devices that accept data or instructions so that they can produce information or results. For our case, data is raw unprocessed information, something that has not been processed. It might be written on paper by hand. It could be sound, you've recorded yourself with a microphone. It could even be a picture that requires some processing. So it could be, it doesn't have to be something written on a book. It also can be sound, it can be video. After it is processed, you now get information. Information is now what has been done calculations to, what has been filtered, what has been typed. That is now under information. So the computer takes this raw data, does the processing. After processing, what you get is information. Yeah, that's what the definition is of computers. Any that you find easy. An electronic device that processes data to generate information, or a device that will accept instructions to produce results. We also have factors you consider when buying a computer. You consider speed. This is measured in gigahertz. We have 3.0 gigahertz, 2.5. That is now speed. Then we go to random access memory, which is in gigabytes. We have 4 GB RAM, 8 GB RAM nowadays. The third thing you consider is storage capacity. That is the hard disk capacity, which could be 1 TB, 500 GB. The other thing you consider is the DVD your desktop is having. So it may come with a DVD drive, which can also write or read DVDs. You also consider the monitor size, the size of your screen, 14 inch, 17 inch, 21 inch. After that, you now will decide on the type of mouse you want and the type of keyboard. We have wireless, we also have the ones that are wired. Those are the factors you consider when buying a computer. We also have two parts of the computer. We have two: system unit and the peripheral devices. System unit is now what comes as having slots at the back that you connect to your keyboard, you connect your mouse, you connect your flash disk. So that is what we call the system unit. Inside it, we have the CPU. Inside that system unit, we have the memories, we have the motherboard, disk drives, which are now interconnected to come up to now what we call the system unit. So the back is where you even have the slots for printers, speakers, some are at the front, microphones and the like. That's now system number 1, which is the system unit, a major part of the computer. Then we have the second part, which are now the peripheral devices. These are other now gadgets that you connect to your system unit, like the screen or monitor. It could be the TFT. It could be, nowadays we have most of the screens we have are flat screens. Peripheral devices will also include the mouse and the keyboard. Another thing we'll look at is the advantages of using computers. Why do we need computers? There are so many here I've given you. So computers have speed. Computers can handle very large data. Computers don't get tired. Computers have security. You can put passwords. Computers are reliable. Computers are accurate when it comes to calculations. Computers can solve very complex mathematical issues. So all these are advantages of using a computer. We also have disadvantages. So computers are expensive to buy. So computers are also prone to getting hackers who maybe want to get access to your files in the office. So disadvantages may also involve viruses. So you are at risk of getting viruses. Computers also need people who are skilled. So they need some experts. Computers are also able to cause unemployment in an office. Employees may be reduced when computers are introduced because they can do so much. So those are the disadvantages of computers. We also have operations of what computers do. So computers will receive input data. This could be through the keyboard, like I said earlier, mouse, when you point at a command, microphone, scanners, if you're scanning a picture, cameras and the like. We also have number two, computers also do processing. So the CPU will do the processing, and this could be searching, filtering, sorting, doing calculations. Computers also give you results. So the results now will include what you've now processed. So the results could be soft copy, which could be on a screen or a projector. The results could be hard copy, where you've maybe printed on a paper. Another operation of the computer is storage. You're able to store information in your computer's hard disk. You can also store in flash disks. Nowadays, you can also store in your memory of the phone. Those are the four operations of the computer. Number one, receiving input data, processing, giving results, and storage of information. Elements of that make up the computer-based information system. These elements will include hardware, anything physical or tangible is hardware. Anything you printers, anything you see and you can touch. Number two element is softwares. You also need softwares, apps to help you now use that hardware. You need to have an app or a software. Then we also have another element is data, what you want to work with, raw material that needs processing. That's an element. You also have information, which is now after processing, what you get as results is the information. Those are some of the elements. Then we also have people. The person operating that computer is also an element. It's considered as an element. We also have procedures that you are doing in the office or in your home, whatever you could be doing. The tasks you are doing also fall under elements. Number 7 is communication. You may need some cables to connect. It could also be wireless. So there has to be some connectivity. It could be through the internet. So that's also considered as an element of computer-based information system. Next, we have classifications of computer according to the data they process. So computers are classified into 3. We have hybrid, digital, and analog. Analog will process or work on continuously changeable aspects. Those things that continuously change, like voltages, pressure, temperature. Those gadgets that do that fall under analog gadgets. They work with continuously changeable aspects. Number 2 kind of gadgets are digital gadgets. They solve problems or they do processing of information that is in discrete form or in distinct form. So data will now be processed in a distinct, not continuously, but now discrete form. So they may involve ones and twos. So the processing may involve issues to do with binaries and symbols, where you work with zeros and one. The third classification of computers are hybrid. These are gadgets or computers that can process both analog and digital. Those gadgets have capabilities of handling both scenarios, like a machine in an ICU. We consider that some of those equipments to be under hybrid. Those are the three classifications of computers. Types of computers: we have laptops. These are portable computers, very common. Desktop computers. These are machines that are now not that are now maybe in an office. We also have microcomputers. These are also computers that are mostly for business use. We also have PCs. PC is now as a computer meant to be used by a single person, someone who even has a password and the like. So these are now types of computers. We also have notebooks. It's a mini laptop, call it a notebook. Another type of computer is tablets. Portable tablets that they have touch screen and they are easily movable, almost the size of a phone, slightly smaller than a laptop. They are called tablets. They have a touch screen and are kind of small. Notebooks are mini laptops. They look similar to a laptop but are kind of lighter and maybe not as powerful as a normal laptop. Those are types of computers. We also have workstations, computers that are very powerful. The speed is high, the memory is also enhanced. They can do major tasks like the 3D graphics, development of games. We may find them in studios. Those computers are considered as a workstation. They are kind of powerful than a normal desktop. We also have another type called servers. Servers is a computer that is very powerful, and it is optimized to control a network of other computers. So it's optimized more to provide services to other computers, maybe in an office or a cyber cafe. One machine, one desktop can be more powerful and is maybe the one handling the rest of the computers in an office or a cyber cafe. And then we also have supercomputers. These are very expensive and they can process data in multiple performance, multiple processing that can even be very large sums of data. The processing can be done at a go in multiples of quite high, like the ones you find in companies like Yahoo. Those machines they're using, Facebook, we regard them as supercomputers. They're able to do high performance, multiple processing. You also can do assignments, get to go research what mainframes are. They also fall under types of computers. We also have types of computers according to the purpose or what they do. So we have general purpose computers, you have special purpose, and dedicated. General purpose is most tasks. The general purpose desktop you find in a home, a desktop you find in an office. General purpose, just doing general tasks. Anyone can use that machine. Special purpose will be those ones that are designed to do specific tasks. Even the making of that machine, that desktop, it's designed even at the point of manufacturing to be used to do specific tasks. That's why it's being called special purpose. So it could be controlling military planes or ships. The equipment that fall under surveillance, those ones are under special purpose. Then we have another type called dedicated computers. These are just like the general purpose computers, but they are confined or they are only meant to do particular tasks. So it's a general computer, but it's only meant to be doing maybe accounts, or it could maybe only be meant to be doing managing a database, so we call them dedicated. Even the employee who sits there is known to be doing certain tasks in that office. They are called dedicated computers. Then we have computer generations. Computer generations, the first generation computers were between 1940 and 1956. These computers were using vacuum tubes as circuitry and magnetic drums for memory. So the characteristics were that they were very big in size. They would make noise, so they would also use a lot of electricity and also generate a lot of heat. The language they were using was machine language. They were first used to do the US census. That was 1940 to 1956, first generation computers. Vacuum tubes and magnetic was what they were using. Vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for memory. We also have second generation. So these ones were now, what came in was transistors, which replaced vacuum tubes. So there was some improvement, but still they were also big, but not as big as first generation. They were also kind of faster, but not that fast, but slight improvement. There were also slight electricity use was also kind of less when you compare to first generation. The language they were using was assembly language, which means programmers could come in and do some programming on them. So they were also using magnetic core technology to now handle memory. So those are now they were first used, that duration between 1956 to 1963. They were used to develop atomic energy. That falls under second generation. Then we have third generation. These ones used integrated circuits. So it's when you say integrated, means it's the shrinking of the circuit to something small. They are also called semiconductors. So the transistor is shrunk to be in a cheap kind of form. This was between 1964 and 1971. This time we also had the introduction of keyboards that were now used by users. There was also the idea of an operating system coming in. There was also the idea of now the machine not being very big, but kindly size that is kind of manageable, but also not that small. So computers were now generated in mass, so that more people would have access to them. So in that generation, the key word is integrated circuits or semiconductors. And the idea of introducing keyboard, monitor, something that is an operating system, and being able to also multitask. That's under that generation. Then fourth generation, this was between 1972 and 2010. We now had IBM, a very common company then. Microprocessors were now being used. So we also had the idea of a name that is also very common called Intel. Intel is a very common name. So the size is now very small, and computers are now very powerful. Computers are now able to even have networks that are local. You can connect cables at this time. We also had the introduction of internet. So this came in the duration of the fourth generation between 1972 and 2010. We also had the idea of icons, where you have a graphical user interface where you can now have the mouse and click on shapes or icons on the screen. So we also had the introduction of handheld gadgets like laptops at this generation between 1972 and 2010. Apple also came in, so IBM and the like. This is now the time that internet came in, the interconnection of computers of a wide area network. Then you have a number fifth generation from 2010. These are now computers that are using artificial intelligence. So computers have voice recognition, face recognition, fingerprint reading, motion sensors. This falls under fifth generation from 2010. Computers that can even do nanotechnology. These are now what we are even using now. Eye scans and motion sensors under fifth generation. So those are, then the next thing we look at is measures that you put in a laboratory to make the place safe. So one of those is to have the behavior in the laboratory has to also be good. Avoid smoking, avoid carrying drinks, avoid unnecessary movements, also use the dustbin well. So there has to be some good behavior in the laboratory. You also need to have the doors being grilled to be strong enough to avoid thieves coming into the laboratory to steal. So doors have to be locked well with metallic windows and the like. You also have to have fire extinguishers in case of fire, which should also be of powder form. You should also have the room well laid out where there is some desks are placed well to avoid unnecessary squeezing. Cables have to be set well. You also should have a UPS or a stable power supply. So the next is areas where computers can be used. Computers are used in supermarkets, industries, homes. So every area computer is being used, there's the element of the reason why it's there. So if it's a bank, they use computers to do registration of their employees, registration of their customers, recording checks, processing payrolls, money transfers. If it is a supermarket, computers are used for managing their stock, managing their sales, managing their purchases, calculating profits using point of sale. All those are in supermarkets. Homes, and computers are used for entertainment. At home, you can also use a computer to do assignments from work or from college. In industries, so all these are areas where computers are used. Even the police will use computers to do their recording. That's what areas we discuss when we are talking about areas where computers are used. And other areas could be hospitals. They use computers for recording patient records. If it's an office, sending emails, receiving emails. If it's an education or a school, we use computers for registration. If it's a library, computers are used for managing their books, borrowing, returning books. So every industry, there is always a computer being used, and there has to always be a reason why you need to have a computer. Those are the areas where computers are used. Yeah, thank you.